Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to a special edition World Sickle Cell Day conversation with myself and my special guest, London Knight. We'll be talking all things sickle cell, living with the disorder, and how it has impacted her life. More importantly, before we get started, let me tell you a little bit about my guest, my wonderful guest, as she shares her story. So London was diagnosed with sickle cell at the age of 3 months. Ever since she understood what sickle cell was, she knew it was important to follow her dreams as a model. Now she's a successful model, traveling around the world, being on covers of multiple magazines, such as Elle, Cosmopolitan, Glamour, Marie Claire, walking runways in Mecerdes Benz Fashion Week in New York, Johannesburg and South Africa, and also appearing in movies and commercials. She volunteers in the Children's Hospital as a passion of hers, something that's truly close to her heart. She's an advocate for young sickle cell warriors, preaching no matter what you are, it is important to always follow your dream. She has a foundation called the London Love Foundation, which is helping to educate through awareness, self-confidence, building skills, and activities to maintain sickle cell disease and mental illnesses linked to it. This conversation is something that's truly dear to my heart. I'm honored and flattered that she's taking the time out of her busy schedule today to talk about something so crucial, so important. Meet my amazing guest, London, as she shares her story. Well, hello everyone, and welcome again to Painless Universal special edition World Sickle Cell Day. Today's June 19, 2022. We're celebrating World Sickle Cell Day. And for those of you who don't know, sickle cell is a genetic blood disorder. Myself, I am a full-blown sickle cell warrior. My guest today, London Knight, is also a full-blown sickle cell warrior. And we'll be talking about experiences, joy, pain, overcoming insecurities of living with sickle cell. But most importantly, how we as warriors come together to celebrate this wonderful day, World Sickle Cell Day, June 19, 2022. So before we get started, I'm going to tell you a little bit about our guest today. As we observe World Sickle Cell Day, June 19, to increase the public understanding of the disease today, on this important day, we'll talk to London Knight. She was diagnosed with sickle cell at the tender age of 3 months, but have overcome the pain to live life as a full-top fashion model. Imagine that. Traveling the world, something no one thought someone with sickle cell could ever do, and sharing her message of awareness and experiences of living with sickle cell. London, thank you so much for joining us. How are you today?
I'm great. I'm excited for today. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk about myself, my pain, and my joy.
I'm so excited myself. I can't believe that you've taken the time out of your busy schedule, because a lot of people, when they see us with sickle cell, they think because it's an invisible illness, we look fine on the outside. We look perfect. Look at yourself. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
And
you.
people will never assume the amount of pain we have to go through to overcome this. Even though we look so gorgeous, we have so much pain we're dealing with
Exactly.
on a daily basis sometimes. But anyway, before we get started, tell me about who is London Knight?
London Knight is a fun, outgoing, say what I feel, because I feel like it's very important when you have sickle cell to say your truth and, let people know what you're going through in the moment. And it's so important. And that's how you live a successful life with sickle cell, because you have to let people know what you're feeling. I think that's so important. You also have to listen to yourself. I'm very in tune with my mind, body, and spirit. I think that's one of the reasons why I've been so successful, with my sickle cell, living with sickle cell, dealing with my sickle cell, just knowing yourself. And I felt like I've been on a journey of always learning and listening to my body. And I think that's very important. So I'm very like secure. I'm very confident. So I think that kind of also translate into me as a model as well. But I have to be confident. I have to be strong because I'm battling things with sickle cell, with personal things. So I think being confident and being strong and knowing your body is very important. And so that's basically who I am.
Amazing. I love that confidence and I love knowing your body because I think it's something we tend to miss. And I always said to myself, if I had known this in much younger days, I would probably have done better in school. I would have been able to ask for help. I would have been able to speak out. And what you just said is very vital for a lot of people suffering from sickle cell is that we need to listen. We need to speak. If we feel there's something bothering us, rather
Yeah.
than bottle it in, speak out and let people know what you're going through. When you remember your childhood, what was it like as a child growing up with sickle cell?
My childhood growing up was a little bit difficult because I would miss a lot of school and I didn't have a lot of friends because I would like be missing from school for months. And you know, when you're young, you don't really understand sickle cell yourself. So you don't know how to explain to other kids, like, I'm going to the hospital, I'm going to get better. And then also, too, you know, kids are really mean. So I think like you not being not they're not understanding you, they kind of create this, oh, you're an outsider kind of thing, like you're on the outside of everybody else, and they can see that and they express those things. I mean, the kids were really cruel to me growing up, and I was like super smart about my books because I just felt like, you know, I wasn't always beautiful, so, or I didn't feel as confident in my beauty at the time when I was younger because I was always sick, and you know, I was scrawny and skinny and tall, and so, you know, my childhood was mostly me being away, me being different, me being sometimes taller than the teacher. And so, you know, kids are seeing these things and they kind of isolate you. So I didn't really have many friends growing up as a child. But my friends that I did have, they were so nice and cool and understanding. I think they just wanted to be my friend or know, like, she's a little bit mysterious. Like, she can leave school for months or like a month and then just pop back. So I think they were a little bit more like interested in, like, who is this girl, you know? So thank God for my little few friends that I did have, but I did have trouble, you know, staying friends with people because I just didn't know how to communicate what I was going through.
Yeah, communication is definitely a big challenge I think people go through, especially people with chronic illness, because you're not quite sure if you tell them, how would they react? Would they become your friends? I was always very cautious about it, thinking, okay, if I tell you I have sickle cell, would you not be my friend again? Would you, or would you start asking me all questions that are impossible to answer, right?
Exactly. Yes.
So, that brings me to my next question is that when did you realize when you were living with sickle cell, in fact, before even that, when did it really hit you that this illness can be really painful? That is absolutely, because a lot of people ask, what is the pain like? Because that is something very difficult for me to describe myself. I know it's unbearable, literally unbearable. Can you describe the pain you suffer?
I think the first time I really realized like I'm really suffering with this was when I started to show signs of like deliriousness. Like I was there, but I wasn't there mentally. You know, I kind of would space out, and I'm like, I'm going through the motions, and I'm like, I'm not in this world. Like, I'm literally in so much pain. Like, it's now like a zoning out kind of thing. And it's like, growing up, I felt like my mom didn't take it as serious. Like, maybe I would complain of some pains, but my mom was like very strict about me going to school and being, you know, being in school. So she just didn't want me to miss too much of school because, you know, she wanted me to get my high school diploma, get my degree and everything. And I just think that what I was going through at the time, the doctors couldn't explain what I was going through. And I also couldn't explain. It's literally just something unexplainable that I don't even know how to describe. It's like a sharp pain, you know, it could be anywhere. It could be from the head to your toes. It literally could be your side, your arm, your chest, your neck, your head. Literally anywhere blood flows, it can happen. It can cause pain. So it's really difficult to even just put it in one kind of word, because it might be a sharp pain one day. It might be a dull pain the next. It might be an internal thing. It might not even be just like surface pain. So it's very, very hard to describe the pain. And it's not even the physical pain. I feel like the mental pain is way more challenging than the physical pain, because as a sickler, I think we kind of get used to the pain. And so the physical pain is not necessarily what is really paining us. You know, a stressful situation may cause a crisis, or, you know, the weather, something just small. Maybe, you know, you was in the air conditioning for too long. So these are all triggers. And so the pain is always different, because like I said, you can't really put sickle cell for one pain category, because there's multiple levels.
Absolutely. And this is something we all need to understand, that even when we talk about, you see lots of articles in the news where people come and people presume people with sickle cell are drug addicts, not realizing that it's not the case. It's just that they might come more frequently, because sometimes if you don't heal the pain well, comes back again so quickly. And another disadvantage with sickle cell is that when people see, it's mostly people who are from the African, Caribbean background, that they tend to see sickle cell, and there's always a discrimination with that origin, let alone having a sickle cell to add to that. So that's always a challenge that people with sickle cell tend to find. When you know, as you were growing up through your life and you were going through these challenges, how did you navigate finding your path in this world? Because it can be very difficult having an illness and finding your path.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of I have to go with the flow. I mean, not necessarily, but as a mental, just opening my mind up to new things, trying everything, seeing what fits. If it doesn't fit and it's too difficult for me, I move on to something else. You know, I say you have to at least try, so you can say if you failed or not. Because saying, oh, I have sickle cell, it might be a strength of yours that God gave you to have the energy or have the strength to do, if it's something that's for you. And I feel like I kind of tried a lot of things. That's how I kind of found my path. And I kind of let things come to me naturally as well, which, like I said, I'm kind of go with the flow, and I would say the universe or God come and speak to me, or things that just make my life easier, that I don't have to climb mountains for, you know, things that are very natural, that come natural to me. So I think that's very important for people who have sickle cell to think about, what are things that make my life easier, that I'm good at, that I can monetize. You know, you have to always think about and I feel like also anything that's a passion that you are talented at, you will make money regardless. You will find money. God will bring you money. So I just think that, you know, you need to have that time to hone in on your craft and perfect your craft, because at first everything, it's not going to be great at first. You're still learning and you're not going to make money to start. But as you gain that knowledge, and that I think it's the 10,000 hour rule, you'll get what you paid back into it. So that's my philosophy on like finding your path.
So what are some of the important messages you can share with others that you received when you were when you were dealing with sickle cell? Who were your support system? How did you navigate it? Because normally we always need that support system. Was it your family? Were you with friends? And in different stages of your life, can you just describe how you've navigated it?
The way I navigate through everything that I've been through, I pray a lot, and I want, like, again, like I said, I want everybody watching this who are sicklers or who are not. This is for everyone. Be very close with God. I pray a lot. I've prayed away crisis before. I feel like when you're in tune with yourself and you talk to God a lot, I'm not very close with my family or anything like that. So I had to talk to God. I had to, be one with Him and be one with myself, because I feel like your mind is such a powerful thing. And if you believe something, if you believe in God and you believe there's something better, a calling on your life, then your mind can block out all that pain, all the things that you're going through. I really think prayer, meditation, I meditate a lot. I do yoga. I learned all these things after I became a model. Because it kind of works with my body and the things that I need to kind of stay lean and fit. And so I did learn these later in life, but it is very important that you stay close to God and you pray and you listen to yourself, listen to your body. Don't mistake, always use your gut. Also, I'll say that, like, your gut, I know we always kind of ignore, like, oh man, I should have listened to myself. But for me, I've always listened to my first mind, and that's it.
I love that. My first mind, when it tells me, because we've learned from it, and it's almost like even with the crisis, it gives you that first instant when you know you should go, and you're trying to ignore that, and you know you should go to hospital. It's almost like that.
Like a gut feeling, because you know that feeling when you have been dealing with this for so long. It's like, okay, let's try not to go overboard, because we think that, I know I hear this all the time, like, oh, sometimes I just want to be normal, but it's like, sometimes I have to stay in and miss things. And that's better for me, so I can wake up the next day and feel the way that I need to feel to move on. Because if not, and I go and hang out, or I take a job that, I really wasn't too secure in, and now I'm stressed, I'm in the hospital, and I don't want to be in the hospital when I could have just said, okay, another time. Yes. And people are understanding. You have to be upfront and you have to speak what you're going through, because if you don't say anything, nobody will know.
Absolutely. Can you remember that moment you said to yourself that I'm going to overcome this disease and not let it ruin my life?
That's a really tough question, because I think that I'm still overcoming every day, and it's a everyday battle. It's not like, oh, it's one and done. And so I just realized, like, I still have to wake up. I still have to make money. I still have to be an example, because I do feel very fortunate to be in the field that I am, because not a lot of people, just in the entertainment industry in general, have sickle cell or have something that they're battling with and they are successful. I want other people to see me and say, I can do that. And so for me, it's waking up thinking about other people with sickle cell, because I want to be an example for them, So I think that's what is keeping me going every single day.
That's beautiful. I really love that, because that's the same way some days you wake up and you have zero energy, and you you don't even want to keep going. And with sickle cell, there's a lot of setback, because there's so much no you could tell somebody, I can't do this because I'm sick. And there's
Yeah.
so much opportunity they will be kind for. And after a while, they was like, I'm running a business and I need my business to keep going.
Yeah.
So we're always in a caught in this situation where we
Yeah.
have to do things even though we're so tired, this is what keeps us going, because we need to show others as well that it's
Mm.
okay. We can do it. We could get through this world, and I really appreciate what you're doing in London. Keep it going. When you think about sickle cell as an invisible disease, because there's all this conversation about invisible disease, we look perfect when people look at us. We just look fine. We look like any Joe Blog on the street. Sometimes not, if not better, because of the way people presume us to be. We're lean. A lot of us are very lean naturally. We don't have to make an effort. So people presume that, oh my goodness, you have it easy. So with that invisible thing comes invisible problem. With a lot of problems that come with it.
Yes, it does.
How are you treated by people who don't know you have the disease?
I mean, you know what? I'm very lucky because I'm very sweet and outgoing. And so I like talking to people. And so I feel like people do treat me normal, but like when I tell them I have sickle cell, they're literally like so shocked because they're like, how you look healthier than me, like you're gorgeous, you're this, you're that. And I'm like, but that doesn't mean anything, because I feel like people always judge a book by its cover. And so that is the reality of, being a human being. You always look with your eyes first. And I think that is crippling also as well, because I wouldn't say that I get treated badly, but when you don't speak up and tell people your needs, again, they will treat you just like a normal person. And then when it is time for you to speak, they're like looking at you like you're crazy, because it's like, oh, why you didn't say anything? And it's like, well, I didn't think I needed to go that deep, or I didn't think it would be necessary. But it's always a good thing to speak up and let people know what's going on. So I don't tell everyone right away, but now that I am an advocate and I advocate, and when I'm meeting people, I am telling people like I have sickle cell. But before, as like a normal person, before the modeling and all that, I didn't even tell like my boyfriends, my friends. A lot of people didn't even know, because it's just so hard to explain. Like, and it's literally something I felt like I was cursed. So I didn't want to tell someone that I'm a sick person. And also I didn't want pity as well. And so I feel like once I do show myself as someone strong, someone who has will and power and strength, they don't show me pity anymore. And that's why I try to be who I am first before I tell people that I have sickle cell. Because if I feel like if you tell people right away, they'll put you in that little pity category.
Yes, and
all as sicklers, we do not want that at all.
No, because life is already pitiful for us, and adding more pity by when you're trying to avoid that, and all of a sudden someone start pity on you. Oh, you can't do that job. We don't think you're good. You're good enough, but we just don't want to.
You, like, they put their limits on you, and it's
Yeah.
like, maybe today I'm fine, maybe I'm good today, maybe I'm not, but don't tell me what I can do and what I can't.
Absolutely. When you look at it, and you with your sickle cell, you decided to go into this very high pressured on this job, fashion.
Yes. I used to be attendant too as well. So
yes, fashion. I mean, flight attendant. What led you on this path to decide that this is something I wanted to pursue, even though the mental stress, not knowing if you would get it, that anxiety causes you, the keeping of, having to keep fit all the time, eat the right food, do a lot of things. A flight attendant might be in the air. What led you on this path?
I don't know. I just feel like my mom instilled like this strong woman in me. And I just seen that she just went for whatever she wanted to go for. And I love to travel. So I figured out the best way to travel, which is being a flight attendant. And I understood that, you know, the high elevation and all these things. I'm like, I'm gonna be absolutely fine. I'm going to be fine. And when you have that mentality of I'm going to be fine, and you speak that truth and that power over your body, your mind is so powerful that your body will listen. And I'm literally like, meditation for me and speaking affirmations and things like that onto my body is how I've been able to do the things, extraordinary things that I've been able to do, because I'm like, I'll be fine. I'll deal with it when it comes. You know, I am just a person of perseverance, and I like challenges, and I like to prove people wrong. So I mean, that's kind of my drive behind doing all these things that have high stress levels. And you have to be very mentally prepared going into castings, because sometimes it's like you go in there and you think you did awesome.
Yeah.
And the client is like, oh my God, we love you. And then, you know, you hear back from your agents and it's like, you didn't get the job. And it's all about the outside, you know? So, and I'm used to people judging me from the outside. So for me, sickle cell kind of helped me in that way a little bit, because I don't take things personal. And to be in this industry, you have to continue, even if you hear 30 no's, that one yes could be, you know, a groundbreaking yes, or it can get you to the next door, the next level. So I just continue to keep going so I can see how far I can get, you know, because like I said, I like proving people wrong.
Yeah. Can you describe some of the success you've achieved from your modeling?
Some of the accomplishments that I'm like super happy about is probably the commercials. I've done Lexus, I've done New York Fashion Week, Mercedes Benz Fashion Week. I've been in magazines. Actually, I was on the cover of Black Beauty here in London. I've been in stores in London, all over the world, South Africa, Milan. So the list, literally, I can't even like the jobs that I'm able to obtain, you know, because it's a little bit difficult to get the bigger jobs, you know, as far as like an upcoming new model. And for me, I've been doing so well and so great, booking amazing, beautiful jobs. But it's only God, though, that I feel has opened those doors for me and put my name in those rooms, because I have a bigger calling, and I have to advocate for us and let people know, stop judging people from the outside, have compassion. You know, don't always judge people from what they tell you, or, you know, or just try to get more understanding of people.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's very important that we have compassion for each other. And it's not always, oh, this person is sickler, let's not even give her a chance because she doesn't have the capability. And that's what I don't like. And it's like, I'm showing people like, yes, I'm doing all those things and I'm doing well.
Absolutely. You know, it's really true, because it's very easily to say, let yourself go and absorb the negative energy that people are reflecting onto one. But you've definitely not done that. You've definitely shined and showed those people with sickle cell, it doesn't matter how much no's you get, there's also always a yes. Utilize your opportunity that you're given. Don't let sickle cell always stop you. I love what you just said, is that you embrace who you are, and you've trained your mind to not believe that you can't do anything, even though you know you live with this really horrible, bad, that, you know, sickle cell anemia, because this is the way I describe it when I describe sickle cell, because I want people to understand how painful this can be. You've never let it stop you in your pursuit of your happiness. So I'm so glad you're doing that, London.
Thank you.
Yeah. So you started the London's Love Foundation, and I'm glad you started this, because I'm presuming this is something to enhance and make people aware of the illness sickle cell. Could you just share with us what are your aims and your mission of the London Love Foundation?
Thank you. Thank you. So I started London's Love because I was advocating for other sickle cell foundations in America, traveling, advocating for them. And I kind of seen there was a little bit of lack of I felt like something was missing. I'm advocating, I'm at these, conventions and things, and I felt there was something really missing. The core things that we need to figure out how we can excel the sickle cell community into living healthful, beautiful lives, maintaining themselves with their sickle cell, living a full life. So with London's Love Foundation, I wanted to kind of take the sickle cell community out of the pharmaceutical ways of dealing with your pain, and like I said again, I pray, I meditate, I do yoga and things like that. So I kind of wanted to take the community into a more holistic route and give people other opportunities, because I feel like when you go to the hospital or you go online or something, there's no real like home remedies or things that besides drugs to deal with the pain. And so I just wanted to give sicklers another opportunity to find better ways, because the drugs are very addictive. They have side effects, but you're already dealing with your own issues. You can't be on drugs that give you other symptoms. So I haven't found that little niche. So I was like, that I feel like what is missing. And so I wanted to start doing like group sessions, aftercare for, therapy and things like that, because I feel like we don't get the therapy, the mental health that we really need. And that is how you excel with sickle cell. Your mind has to be at a high level. And if you're not doing the core work within yourself and breaking down what stresses you, what upsets your body, listening to yourself, how to listen to yourself. Because some people are so used to having their families around and other people influencing them, they don't know how to go inside of themselves and really listen. And so I wanted to take everything that I've been doing and just give it to them, because I know this is working for me. So it must be able to work for them, because we're all going through the same thing. And this is something that I don't see the community helping with, like the people who say they're there to help. They just want to push drugs or a transplant or something, when you can live a full, successful life with sickle cell.
And you and I are truly examples of that. And also the alternative to medicine as well has helped me massively in the way I've managed my pain, the way I've dealt with it, because it's just not taking the drugs. It's also going out for little walks.
To take the drugs if you even need them yet. So everything, you have to pay attention to your body. And I feel like going on retreats and spa days and just really taking the time to listen to your body and your mind and have that power within yourself to know, what should I do? Because only you can know what's good for your body. And I know sometimes we go to the hospital, we're just in pain and we just want the pain away. But it's like, okay, let me tap in with myself. Am I dehydrated? Am I in pain because I've been in cold weather? Did I go swimming? Did my boyfriend or mom or family member stress me out? Am I carrying a load on me? And so I want to teach people how to release those things from themselves and open up their mind more to kind of just more so focus on being a healthy person. And I know it might seem selfish, but this is how you stay away from pain, literally. So if you want to, I realized a long time ago that all the stresses on life or what people try to put on me, I had to release them because it was weighing me down. And that's what was causing, I want to say 50% of my crisis was the outside world, people, things that I thought that I needed to be. So when you're in tune with yourself and like, I'm okay with being who I am, and this is who I am. I don't want to have to do more or do less. Whatever I'm doing in that moment is perfectly fine.
So I love what you're doing because it's really true. Not anyone, very few people are talking about it the way you have described it. This is really an innovative way of really empowering people with sickle cell through an alternative method, through reviewing, looking at your self-help, looking at your self-care,
Mhm.
understanding what are your components of who you are, and what are those things that gets you thick, what are those things that makes you happy, what are those things that increases your stress level.
Honestly, I feel like work for me, because I love what I do. So for me, I'm super happy when I'm at work, but when I'm not working, just taking a hot bath, listening to some soothing music, going for a walk. I like to exercise, so I go to the gym. But I do very low straining exercises just to keep me, keep the body moving and not stressing it out too much as well. And that's also what I'm teaching as well with London's Love Foundation, to exercise. It's okay to go, walk when you're in a little bit of pain. And honestly, it trains your mind also, because sometimes, of course, not every time you're in pain you're going to be like, oh, let me go for a walk. I'm not saying that, but if you start to feel like maybe I've been laying down too much, because also too, laying around can cause you pain as well. So just moving your body ever so slightly here and there throughout, your life, and not just laying around, and just doing little small stretches, yoga, things like that. Meditating is literally calms your mind, and then it calms your body. And so those things make me absolutely happy. Eating as well makes me absolutely, I love going to dinners. So anytime I can go to a dinner, look cute, and eat, that's literally like my favorite hobby.
I, I think we all do. When it's World Sickle Cell Day today, and when you look at, well, when you think about World Sickle Cell Day, there is still, people are making effort. There's a lot of more understanding about sickle cell. What is your hope for Sickle Cell Day 2022? What do you want to see going forward?
For National Sickle Cell Day, I would love to see people just supporting us, wearing red for, empathy for us, showing us that we matter, just the awareness, even just you just, do a little bit of research, because it's not just us in this community. It's our parents, it's our friends, it's people who we work with. So I want the whole world to know just a little bit, just do a little bit of research, and just, tell a fact to one of your sickle cell friends, or say to a friend, hey, did you know this about sickle cell? And, some like you learn something, you have empathy, that you're showing us that you support us, because really it's just the support that I feel that we're missing. um because also too, the lack of knowledge, that people don't know about the disease. A lot of people, I would say I have sickle cell, and they're like completely don't even know what sickle cell means at all, and I'm like, oh my God, like, are you serious? But for me, it's also an opportunity for me to advocate them and let them know and teach them something as well. Because like I said, a lot of people don't even, when I say that, they're like, what is that? I don't know what they think it is. But once I explain to them, they're like, no, there's absolutely no way that you're dealing with this and you're this beautiful. But beauty has nothing to do with what you're dealing with. Everybody has their own things that they're dealing with. It's just that I'm dealing with something physical in my life that I have to battle physically and mentally every single day. And so I would love to see people sharing, posting people, late, in the present as well. Someone, just share a fact or something. I think getting the knowledge out there starts the conversations of how can we help? What's the next step? And so as long as we're having these conversations, more things can be done. And that is why I love advocating and teaching people about sickle cell.
I really felt, and I really want you to keep this. Before I let you go, London, what is your final wish for people all over the world who are going through sickle cell right now and losing hope, but hoping that people like yourself and myself could give them that hope?
For my sicklers, I just want you guys to know that as long as you fight, you still have a chance. The moment that you start to think that you're losing the fight, your body is listening to yourself. Your body is listening to you. And so as long as you keep that fight in you, that warrior spirit, you will always succeed. You will always do something great, no matter what it is.
That is so true. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, London, for this
So
amazing
much.
conversation. And happy World Sickle Cell Day. And whatever you do for the rest of the day, do
Well,
enjoy it and have fun. Thank you so much for this wonderful
thank
conversation. Thank you.
you.